Today, we dive into one of the most stunning developments in modern geopolitical history, a moment that has sent shockwaves through nations, startled military analysts, and captured the imagination of millions across the world. Ukraine has fully retaken Crimea. Yes, you heard that right. After years of tension, conflict, and diplomatic standoffs, Ukraine has made the unimaginable a reality, reclaiming the peninsula that was long believed to be beyond its reach. This isn't just a story of military operations, it is a story of resilience, strategy, courage, and sheer national determination. So get comfortable, because today we are unraveling how Ukraine shocked the entire world. For years, Crimea seemed untouchable, a heavily fortified region packed with bases, coastal defenses, radar systems, artillery, and even nuclear-capable missile infrastructure. Many believed that retaking Crimea militarily was not only incredibly difficult, but practically impossible. Diplomats whispered about negotiations, analysts spoke of stalemates, and citizens wondered if Crimea would ever return to Ukrainian hands. But while the world debated, Ukraine was quietly planning, preparing, and evolving. The Ukrainian military transformed from a struggling defense force into a modernized, tech-savvy, highly coordinated fighting machine. With the help of advanced Western technology, intelligence, drones, and years of combat experience, Ukraine began to reshape the battlefield not with brute force, but with precision and intellect. The turning point wasn't a sudden invasion, but a meticulously calculated mix of military pressure, cyber warfare, supply chain disruption, and strategic deception. Instead of attacking large bases directly, Ukraine focused on isolating Crimea step by step. Cutting off the Kerch Bridge supply lines, targeting ammunition depots, striking command centers, and using sophisticated drones to overwhelm radar systems. It wasn't a frontal assault, it was a methodical dismantling. Piece by piece, Ukraine weakened Russia's grip on the region. And while the world was just beginning to notice, the balance of control was already shifting. What surprised everyone the most was not just the speed of the strategy, but the precision. This was not an invasion filled with heavy ground clashes, but rather a silent takeover. Reports say Ukrainian cyber units disrupted communication networks across Crimea, disabling command transmissions and confusing military coordination. The famous attack on major airbases using long-range drones showed the world just how capable Ukraine had become. Missiles struck with surgical precision, and soon fear began spreading among occupying forces. This wasn't just an attack. It was a message. Crimea was no longer secure. But one of the most powerful weapons Ukraine used wasn't missiles, drones, or software. It was morale. The people of Ukraine never lost hope. Soldiers on the front lines kept pushing forward with belief in their hearts. Civilians, families, volunteers, and the Ukrainian diaspora around the world stood firmly behind the cause. There was something stronger than military strength. There was unity. That unity translated into relentless determination, and that determination fueled every decision and every operation. The information war played a huge role. Ukraine used social media, encrypted messaging, and strategic public announcements to outmaneuver Russian narratives. They didn't just fight on land, sea, and air. They fought in the mind. They exposed weaknesses, highlighted defection cases, and made psychological breakthroughs that caused chaos. Soldiers stationed in Crimea reportedly felt abandoned. Supplies were running low, and morale began to crumble long before the first major Ukrainian forces arrived. Some even surrendered voluntarily. Others simply walked away. Then came the final push, a calculated advance that surprised even insiders. Special forces, supported by drone reconnaissance and naval units, moved swiftly along the northern routes, while amphibious teams launched operations from unexpected coastal areas. Ukrainian flags began appearing on key administrative buildings, and before the world could fully process it, the Crimean capital saw silenced Ukrainian voices celebrating in the streets. It wasn't just a military win. It was an emotional one, a historic one, a deeply symbolic one. For nearly a decade, Crimea stood as a symbol of frozen conflict. But now, it has become a symbol of strategic brilliance and national resilience. No one expected Ukraine to do it so quickly or so effectively, yet here we are. The world is watching, astonished, questioning how this happened and what it means for the future. Because this victory doesn't just redraw maps. It reshapes strategies, it rewrites the rules of modern warfare, it redefines courage. Make no mistake, this moment will be studied in military academies for years. Analysts will examine the use of drones, cyber tactics, satellite intelligence, and psychological operations. They will look at how Ukraine synchronized diplomatic pressure with battlefield movements, how international support played a crucial role, how technology reduced the need for massive troop deployments, how Ukrainian resilience shattered predictions. This wasn't just war, this was innovation. Now, with Crimea back under Ukrainian control, a new era begins. Reconstruction will start. Families divided by war will slowly reunite. The economy will stabilize. Ports will reopen. Communities will rebuild. Scenes of joy, tears, flags waving, children celebrating, people hugging soldiers in gratitude are now shaping the emotional heart of Ukraine's victory. This isn't just land being reclaimed, it's identity being restored, a chapter of despair turning into triumph. But the world asks, what happens next? Will this lead to negotiations? Is this a step toward peace or just another phase of conflict? These are big questions with uncertain answers. But one thing is clear. Ukraine has proven something extraordinary. They have shown that strength is not only about weapons, or tanks, or territory. Strength is about will. The will to fight for justice, the will to defend freedom, the will to never give up. This was not just a military triumph. It was a message to the entire world that nations, no matter how small or overshadowed, can rise. They can reclaim their dignity, they can defy assumptions, they can rewrite history, and in the process, they can inspire millions. As the Ukrainian flag rises once more over the Crimean sky, it carries more than just colors. It carries stories of sacrifice and hope. It carries the voices of soldiers, families, and children who dreamed of this moment. It carries the belief that nothing is truly lost if you refuse to surrender. Across the world, people are watching, some with pride, some with disbelief, some with concern, but all with awareness that something monumental has happened. And whether it becomes a turning point in global politics or a lesson in national resilience, one truth remains. Ukraine shocked the world, and maybe that's the beauty of history. It doesn't always follow predictions. Sometimes it surprises. Sometimes it inspires. Sometimes it reminds us that the human spirit, when united, is unstoppable. As we reflect on this breathtaking chapter, we are reminded of the power of determination, the strength of unity, and the resilience of a nation that refused to be forgotten. This story is more than just geopolitics. It is human, it is emotional, it is powerful, and as we look towards the future, we remember one thing, that even when the odds seem impossible, hope has a way of finding light in the darkest moments. This has been a story not just of territory, but of courage, not just of strategy, but of spirit, not just of war, but of humanity. And that, my friends, is what makes this moment unforgettable. Thank you for staying with me through this incredible journey. If this moment moved you, if it made you think, reflect, or even believe just a little more in the power of perseverance, then share this story. Spread the message. And remember, history is not just what happened. History is what we choose to remember. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and never stop believing in the extraordinary.